A close game in map number 1, but Oxygen actually comes out ahead. It was looking like it could be potentially a rough map for them coming into Lotus. And even though I thought maybe we'd see an agent composition change, we don't get one, but what we do really get is a star performance coming in from Redux. Thus, this is what we've been waiting for, to see him really step to the occasion. 300 ACS, 23 and 15 from him on the Raze.
Yeah, I mean, it was a slight change. They did bring in the fade for the Sova.
Sure, but nothing major.
Yeah, I don't think that was the tipping point. It was definitely really, I think, them just being willing to fight M80 head on. I think it was Redux having tons of impact. It wasn't the number of frags that he got, it was how he got them. Like, he was stuffing aggression and limiting the impact of players making forward movements, and he himself was able to have some pretty nice opening picks. So yeah, I mean, he definitely is continuing to grow within this team, no doubt about it.
I think one of the interesting things is seeing Koala Noob still manage to hit that crazy level of performance that we know that Koala Noob is capable of in the first blood department. Dude had 7 first bloods. His issue was he was just getting shut down elsewhere. He ends up finishing 16 and 15. The numbers aren't the worst, but they're certainly not like some of the 30 bomb types we've seen from him in the past. But it's just a strong map from Oxygen. You had talked about it, Dust. One of the things you were concerned about is they might play a little bit light on one half of the map. This is not a problem for them here. They end up closing things out, and they end up sticking true after a strong first half.
Yeah, I mean, there was certainly an increasing comeback effort from 80 where I started to get scared that maybe their defense was going to be a problem again, but it was pretty quickly resolved.
Man. We are looking at an Oxygen roster that we came into the season questioning, just looking at Split 1. And those questions were answered coming out of Split 1 and then into the mid-season face-off. And then we saw them make changes. And we were talking about this before this first map. We were like, I don't know if I'm sold on the changes. And I don't want to say that this one map is like, they were right. They got it. That's clearly not the point that's trying to be made. But it is promising to see Redux sort of rise to the occasion, because up until today, he hasn't been bad, because I don't feel like that's fair. He just hasn't had a game where it was like, okay, I get it now. He went 13 and 12 and 19 and 16 in their game against Shopify. Those aren't like, whoa, watch out, this kid is here to play. They're not like terrible. It could be like 4 and 20. It didn't end up being that. Pun intended. Also, I did not mean to drop 420 reference, but I did. But he's rising to the occasion against one of the strongest teams potentially in the region. That's huge.
Well, he's also just continuing to level up. I think that's what it was going to take. I guess we're 4 weeks now in with him, but the first week you can kind of push to the side because he's playing the Killjoy, his first time on Duelist, and even in his interview he says, yeah, I was just kind of doing my job. I didn't have to do too much. I didn't have to go crazy. My team had me. Then week 2, you just mentioned the numbers there, and you're expecting week 3 to be a bit better. And then at a certain point, if you're, for whatever reason, a hater, and you say, Redux got lucky. Redux did this against Shopify, who hasn't been looking like a strong team, or did this against TSM, he looked bad. Well, then you turn your eyes to what just happened here. And this is M80 that we're talking about. That Redux just came here and just, dunked on M80 on the Raze, no less, which I would imagine just carries over into Split. So it's looking very promising. A team, like I said, for me, that went from a team that was able to find upsets to now a team full of superstars.
You mentioned the map being Split. Here's our map picks and bans. That's how we ended up there. We've seen Oxygen have pretty decent success on Split. They obviously bested G2, a team who's known to have a proclivity for playing the map going back to the mid-season face-off. They also lost to G2 at the mid-season face-off on this map. It was a 13-5 loss and then a 13-9 victory. And then going back to the first split, they had wins over FaZe Clan and Turtle Troop, and of course, another loss to G2, as it was their map. M80 on the other side, Dust, I think you were framing it up nicely. We just don't really know what to expect. They've only played the map once. It was a 14-12 loss to Shopify Rebellion.
Yeah, and it was only just 2 weeks ago. So definitely kind of like Lotus, it's a map that they just never really had to pull out. I mean, M80 has often just been playing maps like Haven, some Ascent, some Pearl. They haven't really had to play too many different maps. I mean, they were playing Icebox quite a lot before it got taken out the pool, and they were very good on it. Fracture is another map that they've been very powerful on. But yeah, they've been rather untested on Split and Lotus, and obviously they don't really play Bind. So yeah, don't really know what to expect here from them. But certainly we know Oxygen can succeed on it, and they look really sharp this first map. So yeah, I like their odds.
And again, I think it is important to set the expectations. M80 is not necessarily guaranteed the #1 seed, but it's pretty close. And even if they were to lose today and Guard wins, it's a #2 seed. It's not a bad situation for M80 at all. Oxygen obviously looking to prove things coming out of the group stages. A big win over M80 would be a way to do it. It looks like it is time for us to jump into our second map. This one's going to be Oxygen's pick. We'll see where they go with it. Take it away.
Oxygen's pick here. As, I mean, yeah, this could be, at the very least, Oxygen playing spoiler. Also finishing at the top of their group. Also proving to themselves, I think, outside of, you know, proving to the fans that they can hang and compete with the best. A win over here against M80, I guess, much like we talked about Mad Lions and OR Esports, right, gives us a little taste of what relegation might look like. I mean, this is a possibility that we get this matchup again in the playoffs. And if Oxygen Esports are going into that one with a convincing victory, I think obviously confidence levels through the roof. We saw what they did in mid-season face-off, so we'll see if they can close it out here. Again, Oxygen want to head out this way, take us to Split, and we'll see if they can close it out as they start on the attacking side here. Nothing really too crazy, nothing too much stands out outside of we have that double Sentinel. Rustin gonna be playing that Cypher here in this one versus the two controllers that M80 bring into this defense to try and slow things down.
I mean, both these teams are playing the comps they played most recently, so they haven't made any changes in that regard. M80 gonna try to defend against this B Heaven attack. That Redux is gonna be leading right now at the paint shell. Snake Bite and that Poison Orb Decay is gonna hold him back from making much more forward progress. As John Cutie prepares to get split here. And Xander has a great little spot here on the balcony.
Well, yeah, I mean, the balcony spot, it was sniffed out. Eventually taken down was Xander, but John Cutie was playing the cross there. Was able to find at least one kill for their trouble. Redux has since been dealt with. Koala trying to beat the plant. He does so well, he beats the planter. Spike is down. Gravity Well will slow him down for just a moment as Verno opposite cross the entryway here. Koala's topped off, and this guy's ready to fight once more, but Flash keeps him at bay for now.
Yeah, big exchange of flashes, just kind of brings everything to a screeching halt. Now Verno finds one on the backside, bitch to follow up, but now it's all on Nismo.
Yeah, I mean, highest clutch in Split too, but you're running out of time here. And these right clicks, somehow these right clicks continue to find their mark. I mean, that just makes absolutely no sense, but hey, Oxygen Esports will take it.
Indeed, they will. Really well done there. Nice clean take. They got slowed down at B Heaven for a bit, but they were eventually able to make their way through, get a good trade onto Xander, overwhelm John Cutie, and never really let the retake get set in. And so they will buy up a couple of rifles on Virno and Rustin with the Guardian, or at least he had it for a second, sold it back. Not sure what he's going to wind up with in the end. Two Phantoms, though, out for Scuba and Virno.
On the M80 stack out towards A. Unfortunately, seeming like it's going to find
Nothing?
no value.
Yes.
unless Mitch goes wandering a bit too far.
Yeah, looking like pretty much a done deal round. Although, Nismo able to kind of sneak his way in there to grab one. That's going to be it, though. And now Mitch just needs to get, he needs to run. Run, Mitch, run. Run for your life.
They're trying to catch up to him. A couple of right clicks finds him a bit lower in HP, but he does make it out with his life. All four still around the corner, though, and
Run!
yeah, I mean, Mitch is just playing pain here for M80. Bought so much time for the squad. There's not a whole lot that you can expect from him, but they wanted that one kill at least.
Dude, Mitch, what a legend. Help sewers. Okay.
Grenade!
I couldn't help myself.
Oh, Mitch eventually dies.
No. I wanted Mitch to survive for so long. He worked so hard for it.
And damage for M80, not much more than that, though. They will fall to the spike, and they will bring the potent buy into the next. Meanwhile, the inverse is a relatively potent buy as well for Oxygen. They bring a couple of rifles into this one, reinvestments kind of across the board. I mean, eventually makes it 4 rifles and a Spectre. This is a strong bonus.
Indeed it is. No doubt about that. Of course, they had bought 2 rifles in the previous round. I think Rustin was just on a Ghost, so that's what's allowed them to have such a hefty buy up here in what would normally be a bonus round, I guess you could say.
Poison orb emitted.
A deep orb here from M80. Keeps Oxygen at bay. That'll subside, so it's jump peaks now for information. A grape comes up. A grape comes up and a grape gets popped. Nismo sent back to the factory. Snakebite to try and stop the rest of this Oxygen team from pushing on through, but the V defense just got weakened by 1.
Yeah, that Trailblazer clears the way for Redux to get into B Heaven pretty safely. There's a counter Trailblazer coming into Heaven, confirms Redux is there, but that's really about it. Sight is going to have to be a retake situation at this point as Redux has cleared out everything for the Spike to be able to come in safely. And they have man advantage. And they have control of Sight and Heaven.
Wow.
The only thing they don't know about is B main flank, which they're about to check that as well with Scuba. So they pretty much have everything on lock, and M80 just have to save. I mean, they have no headway in. It's rare you see this, but I mean, in this situation, they really just had no way back into that site.
Yeah, very conservative in this, wanting to hang on to the rifles. There's a world where Oxygen go hunting. They have so much economy with this being just their bonus round. Verno will drop down, take away a weapon from EU, and walk away. And I mean, on top of the round win, call that a dub as well.
Yeah, Scuba also trying to come through Spawn and see if he can find something on his way, but rest of him, he's pretty firmly tucked into safe positions to save these 3 rifles, so no further economic damage being done by Oxygen on that one. Obviously, M80 with the 3 rifles they saved are able to still put together almost a full purchase here. EU is going to be down to a Guardian, but I don't think that bothers him too much. We've seen him have some big plays with that.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
I mean,
look at the credits for
an ace.
Yeah.
With the Guardian, so
yes,
doing good.
Yeah,
This is a nice spot.
it is a good gun, often underutilized.
Bomb buddy out.
Man, switching it up completely. They just completely give up mid control. Spike not here, however. They're just trying to see if they can buy some rotations, play this fake. Just on the other side, the toxic screen was Xander. Now back himself
Screen down.
into Heaven, and then Spike slowly bringing up the rear. Meanwhile, Redux tip of the spear. Or the squad of Stings will be slowed down momentarily. Look at all this space, though. Xander, a player at his back. Redux will deal with him. Paint shells out and over the top. John Cutie next up, but he finds 2 kills. And he slows things down once more, completely splits up the team. There's a third for the Astra. How much more can he find here? Nismo here to back him up. And Oxygen Esports down to 2.
And Quality on the flank as well. I mean, there's a trapwire that will detect it, but knowing's half the battle when you're in a 2 versus 4 situation.
But now there won't be a trapwire.
Yep.
He just got hit by the suppression.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I guess now the flank might not mean too much because they're just stuck here, tucked away on the side. Koala dashes in. He's dealt with almost immediately.
Can't use that
Couple of stars now to worry about. Rustin not going to be able to escape that one. Verno still has the high ground with the ponytail spotted. There's the one of the kills. John Cutie with 4, EU with 1, and the round belongs to M80.
Kind of impressive Oxygen and got it that close in a 2 versus 4, though. I mean, they wound up getting 3 down. Comes down to a 1v1 in the end for EU, so pretty tight, but M80 do just get it done. I think the big thing that hurt was Redux jumping on top of the box for that second frag attempt inside Heaven. This right here, that hurt a lot. That gave John Cutie kind of a freebie. And then he was able to activate his star to slow the rest of the attack down and wind up with another. I think if Redux just tucks in there, it could be a different story. Either way, still a full buy for both sides. Ult advantage, the way of Oxygen.
economy is pretty for this round,
Scout
pretty
destroyed.
for the next round. And I mean, should they keep losing, they're going to be on that full loss bonus as well. So they set themselves up nicely 4 rounds into this game. This one starting much like the first. It was a 4-0 start for Oxygen Esports. M80 to make sure it's 1 less this time around. We'll see what answers they have as Mitch queues up the Seekers, trying to find out what his defense is playing.
Yeah, it's pretty heavy B heaven setup initially defensively, but now they're starting to fall back into sight off the back of those Seekers. John Kitty and Quad Noob are now here. Oxygen playing inside the smoke, looking to try to play the barrier or cross into sight. But John Kitty's back here in the corner and could shut them down. Will he get read by the Boombot or anything like that? Meanwhile, Mitch has a pretty crazy push through A heaven. They might actually pivot back. This is all a fake.
And look at the wall. The wall is to protect Verno to be able to walk up like this. Koala privy to it, but does not win the fight. Meanwhile, Rustin works his way onto the A site. Defender's still here. Now the Seekers to reveal the rest of the attack. They're all here at the A site, slowly but surely. Verno's gonna be working his way across the map. For now, it's 3 members of Oxygen to try and deal with Xander, dig him out from this site. Redux to try and get that spike planted. Xander doesn't give himself up just yet. On the corner, EU's here as well. So spike is planted, but this is not clear. This is not safe. The players both will swing. We go 1 for 1 on the trade. EU doesn't reveal himself just yet. Guiding light will flash Redux off the angle. Mitch gonna try his hand from heaven. Spots Nismo, takes him down, trades a flash, but John Cutie does it once more. And Oxygen find themselves a player down. A fragment at the feet of Verno. He survives for a moment longer, but I mean, all eyes on him. The slow orb. It's really all he's got to work with. That wall goes down. The spike is planted for him, sure, but too many targets to worry about. An M80, they hang on to this A site and they take the round.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where it felt like they were trying to throw a pretty big fake onto B, with Verno just getting pushed so deep into sight and so much pressure being put on. He even gets a frag, but I mean, M80 just didn't bite. They still had players on site. They were committed to the defense on A. They never really wavered. And so I'm not sure if that was Oxygen just calling on the fly or whether that was a design fake from the start, but either way, M80 just didn't really fall prey to it. They were prepared and handled the defense really well.
Thanks.
And so now they've put themselves within 1. Still full buy for both sides. 1 ult for each team.
Early Trailblazer. Koala trying to make good on that information that EU just got him. He does eventually do so. Finds his 1. Hasn't quite given up the A heaven position just yet. The site, however, has been taken by Oxygen, and Koala's about to do it. Wanted to get aggressive.
Bomb buddy out.
But goes against his better judgment. He survives for now.
Yeah, so it will be a 4-on-4 retake attempt here. Defensively, everyone coming through screens. No flank, no heaven. It's all coming one way.
Wow. Rustin finds that kill on an Ismo. Means the resurrection will be available. Koala gonna get him back online. John Cutie still finds these kills in the retake. He's been so good for it. Mitch able to match those kills back and forth. It's a 0 point. It reveals Redux. Scuba's unknown for now. And on top of the star, wow, gonna keep him on it here. Nismo playing the body blocks. Xander's gonna stick this one just about all the way. Stun comes through, and that's gonna do it.
Oh my god. Body blocking the grab well so he can stay on the defuse. Are you serious? That's what wins the round. That's the difference maker. They thought they had this red. Holy cow. That is so crazy, man. I mean, Oxygen are kicking themselves because they felt like they played that perfectly. They were playing the post-plant smart with equal numbers and stars to protect the spike defuse, and then you see that happen. That is incredible.
And always a possibility, but it's something that we see very rarely. Yeah.
Wow, man. I haven't seen that in a hot minute. I don't even know that I've casted a game in Challengers this year that's happened.
Shame.
What a play. I read it. Good Lord.
Very, very heads up. Again, both players lined up in a situation like that. It's so incredibly scary, but it worked out. Like you said, they didn't want to reveal themselves. They thought they played it perfectly, and it was anything but that. So M80 will tie us up, knotted at 3. Ooh, guiding light gets a little wonky, and Xander gets punished for it.
And Rustin will get the immediate neural theft for intel on the remaining defenders, which allows them to know that they have free access to vents to really start pressuring A Heaven and really create this split. But EU holding a brilliant position, gets one, but there's the immediate res. Showstopper now, and it finds a target. 4 on 2.
30 seconds left. Spike planted.
Quick work there with the guiding light to slow down the push. Nismo and Koala wanted to answer back as quick as possible, but stopped in their tracks as the operator takes the angle once more. But nobody home. Nismo and Koala opt into the save, and Oxygen will reclaim their lead.
Yeah, just Rustin catching somebody aggressive on the periphery of the map, getting his ult off. They realize that there's a gap through vents. They take it. And that's all she wrote. Scuba trying to look to see if he can stop these weapons from being saved, but he's going to get caught out there by Nismo. So far, so good as far as M80 is concerned about saving weaponry, but Mitch has a chance maybe to get a little bit of a flank in, but Quality was, he's privy to it with the op. He's waiting for it. And he'll find his man. So guns will be collected and saved, but the round goes to Oxygen.
Yeah, that doesn't feel great. Fortunately, there are a couple of members who are sitting pretty in credits, but it was the members that died there, they were relatively low.
Thank you.
So we have ourselves full buys for both sides. One ult available for each. Xander putting his ult out right away, but Redux says, yeah, see that later. Viper's Pit, what? What do you mean?
Redux doing it again. It just dunks on Xander there.
Oh my lord.
You don't have to commit this now either, right? You're just giving yourself so many more options. I think the quick call for M80 is, okay, they're gonna hit the safe site, let's rotate. And they've started taking space out towards mid to try and corral Oxygen here. They can look to back away from this one. They can look to play elsewhere or look to spam Nismo through the smoke. My guy's down to almost no HP.
Yeah, now they'll clear the site with Trailblazer as well as Elbow, so they know that they can bring the spike in now. They know that they have, screens pretty well sectioned off. They're even gonna maybe bring the barrier orb over there. Indeed they do. So that's one route kind of cut off. That's gonna, M80's gonna go ahead and say, all right, respect, we'll save. Again, this is the second time they've just saved on a 4-on-5, but it's like one of those things where how do you get back into the round? You have no control. You have no flank. I mean, everyone's funneled one direction. It's kind of just the way the credits are, the way that you're positioned. It's the best call to make.
Yeah, saves like this, though, giving up rounds, it hurts when I think we saw one of these, maybe two of these from M80 on Lotus. And obviously, if you run into a 4v5 and you lose, you lose. Much like you lose if you save. But when the game is this close, it's rounds like this where you think maybe if they try to do something aggressive, maybe, I guess this makes a little more sense too, right? If you called that timeout, you have that extra time at the end of the round, and now all of this time to try and work through it. But if we find ourselves 13-11 with Oxygen winning this series 2-0, maybe you look back to this round and say, dang, why don't we just let Koala try and go crazy with the operator?
Tough to say. M80, though, calling the timeout to talk things through. I mean, it's pretty interesting. Like, we've kind of seen a mixture of success from Oxygen. On the one hand, they've been successful at Redux just kind of flying in and getting big entries, but they've also been successful just kind of playing a default out and catching M80 being aggressive and punishing them for it. So, I mean, they've won, very different ways. They've also tried throwing some fakes here and there to try to keep M80 alert on all sides of the map at once to make it hard for them to read. They've played a pretty diverse attacking side so far. So I'm not sure what big adjustment M80 is going to make. They're going to go for the operator for the first time defensively. Well, not the first time, but I just feel like it hasn't really had much impact.
Yeah, at all.
So maybe they're going to try to change up where they start it. Looks like he is going to get aggressive at ramps with it this time around. See if he can get something going. In fact, the only shots he's fired off are saving shots.
Yeah. Killed Mitch. That was basically it. Oh, a gap in the cage. Man, Russ is gonna wish he had that one back. Has to go back to the drawing board for that lineup. That is punishing.
Yeah, that's tough. Definitely didn't expect that, I'd imagine. Now the spike is sitting on Mitch alone over here at Sewers, where Koala is still holding a forward angle for intel. It's freeing up the rotation to reinforce B and middle. Oxygen do have control of vents, so they could maybe try to work an A split here. The issue becomes pushing Koala back, which is possible. What they could go for here is have Mitch guiding light him out, back up the A ramps right into players that are coming into heaven through vents. But actually, Koala backs up into sight.
And false sense of security, though, right? Koala gonna retake this space. Guiding light queued up inside. No, not like this. Scuba trying to put down the stars, but he won't even get to activate them. EU dealt with as Redux will find a kill on a Koala who was looking to sneak away, but unsuccessful in those endeavors. The A site's been opened up. It's all about the retake here for M80. This time, numbers are even. They have to work through this wall first.
Verno heard 2 guns firing on that barrier orb, though, so he knows that at least 2 are coming through back halls to screens or heaven, so that gives him some good information.
And Redux has just been, I mean, gifted an operator. Good leap across there. Xander survives because of it. Redux misses this shot. With that smoke up here on the side, that's allowing for free passage out towards that spike. Another smoke comes down. Blast back to try and buy some time on the spike. Redux eventually Pundus couldn't win the duel with Nismo. Beautiful fragment there as well to help his team out. John Cuddy try and stick the spike here. The spray, it won't quite land.
No.
And another round goes the way of M80 by just holding the defuse.
Yeah, I mean, they just used that smoke as sanctuary to get onto site. Almost kind of backfires for Scuba because it doesn't allow Redux vision onto screens. And so they just are allowed to slip in. And then there's nothing they can really do at that point. I mean, Redux misses his first shot. He's off the board. He tries to satchel the spike. It's caught by Nismo. So a tight half here for sure, but Oxygen's still able to get the full buy going here. Again, Koala playing a forward angle. Just Koala things.
Yeah, just Koala things. Didn't give anything
though.
just yet.
They're like, nah, we're not falling for that again.
Yeah. Nismo. Spotted by the Trailblazer. No way. Not like this. Both players swing. Both players dealt with. Meanwhile, on the opposite side, Verno collects a kill and opens up the B site.
Spikes and Sewers, bro.
Spike, though.
Yeah, Spikes and Sewers, man. Now, M80 doesn't know that. So they're going to start rotating. Because Verno had a chance to maybe get another frag or 2. Oh! Oh,
No
my
way.
goodness.
Give him another.
And he spots another, and he has a teammate here to back him up.
One enemy remaining.
Wow. Koala still gets one. But it does
the
find
spike's
EU
planted.
in a tricky spot. Yeah.
Spike planted. One enemy remaining.
Oh, it's going to come down to a 1v1. But I mean, EU has no clue where this guy could be.
Hawk out. Blinded.
Oh, well.
Ooh. Knows now.
Yeah, he does.
And you have to think, right? You have to dig him out of this position. Spike planted for heaven. Oh, no way! Wasn't even expecting the vent angle. But EU still gets it done. A 1v2 to tie us up.
Oh my goodness, man. What a weird round.
Don't
A round
even
that
try
Oxygen are
me.
kind of forced to play out that way because of where the spike had fallen. They almost pull it off, though, because they're getting the kills they need. This double from Nismo, though, is so nasty because they read him with the Trailblazer. But then Virno, equally as impressive,
Spike
works
planted.
these frags with Scuba,
One
but
enemy.
then Scuba can't get away. And it allows EU a chance at 2 separate 1v1s, and he's ultimately able to get it done. Koala Noob stoked, you can tell that.
That goes there.
I love the player cams, man. I love the player cams.
They do net some good results sometimes, that's for sure. Oh, Redux spots one, screens there.
And you almost respect the change in pace now from Oxygen, right? A little less measured in their approach. They have been met by quite a bit of utility though, so they've been stalled out, but maybe this was the plan. Early in the round, buy out the ultimates,
Healing.
waste some of that Viper util. See what you can get back into it. Good 0-point
boy.
reveals. That
Everything.
Just about the entire team is here.
Yeah, revealed 4. The only person that didn't reveal is Scuba, who's lurking middle, but Xander's right here. All going to come down to timing.
Toxin screen down.
Oh, Xander's heard running away. So Scuba has that intel. We'll be able to slide out now, maybe even get into vents and try to help out this A attack, or maybe fake. But I don't think he's going to read this angle from Xander. No way. They're all coming back this way. Xander, oh my goodness.
Ooh.
That's huge.
Very smart from Scuba. Xander does go to buy some time though. Big shells will force the
30
angle
seconds
of the Viper. 51 HP, and he tosses out another one. With 30 seconds, Oxygen Esports gonna have to make a move, and they're still defenders here on the A side.
Yeah, they're forced to go back here. Cosmic Divide will block off screen, so there's 2 players on site, elbow and behind the sign.
Concealment. Pulling
They're gonna have to get some trades quick to get this spike down.
10 seconds
Still
left.
yet to deal with John Cutie. Backside will find the first. Rustin gonna stick that spike all the way. John is just doing it again. 2 kills away with the Astra. ZU finds himself fighting on the site once more. Smoke goes down. A little bit of friendly fire team back and forth as Nismo and EU work hand in hand to clear out Oxygen. They've got themselves a lead once more.
You've got to respect
No
the
charges left.
patience from John Cutie on the back of the slide. There's only about 11 or 10
Last
seconds left on
round
the
before
clock
the
when
switch.
Oxygen start
Seconds
finally
left.
forcing the spike plant. But John Cutie doesn't pay mind to it. He just plays the periphery of the smoke and lines up 2 frags and concedes the plant. Just plays it smart. Just plays the numbers game. That's so well done. I think so many people in that situation would start spamming the smoke and trying to stop the plant from happening. But John Cutie plays the discipline to make sure that they get the dub. And now it's the final round of the half. All the advantage for Oxygen, but they are on a judge on Redux. But a judge and some satchels can do some big work.
Yeah, I mean, it does hurt though that Redux, Oxygen, they've never been able to play fast. Anytime that they try and play aggressive, they're met by so much utility. See if this time's any different. 0 point gonna slow things down, at least for now.
Yeah, Smoke is also blocking Oxygen's path forward through middle. We're trying to fall back into a bit of a default here. Rustin trying to pick back up on the edge of A. Still has Scuba playing outside of B position. Trying to keep some pressure on middle here with Redux, but the rest seem to be gathering up for A side. But this is where Quad Noob's operator's at. And are they going to be able to push him off this angle?
Ooh, Redux trying to sell this here. Beautiful no command to stop the rocket. The rocket won't find too much. Qualanoop spots the backside of one. Instead, looks to take the life of another, and that's Perno to fall.
Dude, Redux is playing the long con, and he's got to move quick.
Yeah.
I mean, he might be waiting too long to make this play happen. I don't know, actually. He's getting there.
I mean, he's going to be in heaven with a blast pack, though. That's basically it, right? He's got a judge. It's not the best weapon to be playing heaven with. Rustin just going to try and, well, stick things closely there as eventually Redux does get met by Koala. Nismo just going to hop onto that spike, and M80 will do it. They battle their way back in after an 0-3 deficit. They find themselves 2 rounds to lead at the half.
Yeah, I almost feel like towards the end of the half that Oxygen started to overcomplicate some of these rounds. Like, they started to get a little bit indecisive. They were kind of bouncing back and forth. They didn't really, I don't know, like, it's almost like they kind of got caught between 2 minds a couple of times where they wanted to fake or whether they wanted to commit. I almost feel like they made it too hard on themselves in some of these final rounds. I mean, obviously that one round they let spike inside sewers while everyone's pressing B is kind of one of the glaring ones that leaps off the page, is a round that was just kind of misread. But there's a couple other rounds where I feel like they were just trying to do too much, and they could have just simplified things and maybe had a little bit of a better time. But nonetheless, it's going to be 7-5 to score as we switch sides. Oxygen with the pistol could tie this thing back up. But M80 looking to pounce on A rather quickly. Could be too much to handle. Look at this mid push.
Yeah. 4 down mid for Oxygen. Rustin, the sole defender here on this A side, and Oxygen Esports, I mean, they're not too sure which direction they should be headed with this mid push.
No, not at all. But obviously the stars start to fall on A, and now they understand what's happening. The problem is they got a long ways to go to get back over here to help this retake. Rustin just trying to stay alive in screens in the meantime. Heavy rotation through vents here for Oxygen.
And Heaven's not even clear. Flash out, doesn't spot Nismo. He's still on the angle. Trailblazer will eventually reveal as Oxygen start to work their way back into the safe site. Good paint shells. Nismo down to 1 HP. He's just around the corner. Good flash. Eventually will be dealt with. Redux takes him down, but the kills get traded right back. And players here on this A site have not been dug out just yet. From defense to attack, EU looks to hang on. Xander looks to get it done on his own. And now it's all up, well, the Rustin and John Cutie. And Rustin just has nothing to do here. Nobody to body block for the Cypher here this time. Them 80 prove themselves here in the pistol, and they continue to grow their lead.
Yeah, just kind of just crazy mid push from Oxygen and try to set up a flank retake, but does not pan out. M80 hold on. They've now won 5 rounds in a row, if you include the last 4 of the first half, and now they take the pistol here, so they're building that lead, as you said. Buying up a couple of rifles, Marshall for Koala. Nismo and John Cutie for now looking to just stay on pistols. Full save for Oxygen, it seems. All classics. Maybe looking to try to roll the same strat. Just push down mid, S4. Rerun that pistol.
Yeah, run it back.
Run it back.
Rustin, a different look this time, but it ends the same way, leaping away through heaven back towards screens. Bruno could be the first one up. And
Poor guy.
the first one down.
Yeah, I mean, not a whole lot to be done this round for Oxygen. Just classics. Tried to push down mid once again. Find no results. And so it will be that 9-5 lead for M80 as they look to try to keep that pressure up to force that third map. Again, the third map would be Haven, a map that both teams are seemingly equally comfortable on. If you look at the results. Could be a fun battleground to finish things off if it gets to that point.
It's a rifle. John Cutie will answer back though on 2 of his own. Mitch tried his hand. Good bit of damage, but that rifle will be retrieved. To Oxygen's credit, it did take them a little bit of time to figure out how to deal with the M80 aggression on Lotus. But they were also up 8-4 at the half, right? So if it's going to take you a few rounds to figure out, you know, the way that M80 are playing this attack, you don't have as much to waste here, right? So Oxygen, they need to start showing us something right now. In this buy round, this one, a very, very important one to win.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to let M80 cash in on a bonus like this if you want to have any hopes of making the comeback. Go out to be M80 at double digits, you're saving. They're getting free upgrades. It's a bad time.
Stars here to try and slow things down. Koala disrespects it, moves right through it. And with that, Scuba just going to give up this B site. Retake. But Oxygen Esports will be looking to play. Paint shells go out. Redux looking to stall. We'll find a bit of damage, but Xander sneaks away. That spike gets planted. It's Rustin on a solo mission here on the flank, and this one's being held. Only a Marshall. Oh, and EU just gives up the angle, but the Seekers will eventually call this out, so they'll have to worry about Rustin behind. Meanwhile, the rest of the team still needs to find ways to work their way into this B side. Oxygen haven't pulled the trigger just yet. Flashes are out. Koala's inside the smokes here. I mean, they have to go. They're running out of time. Kills go back and forth. Oxygen out on top. 1 kill the lead. Meanwhile, Koala looking to play spoiler, and he does so for 2. John in the back lines grabs another. Verno just going to try and walk away and save this rifle as M80 take the round.
Yeah, again, it's just that little bit of hesitation when the Seekers come out. You know, all of a sudden the flank is found out from Rustin. And yeah, like you said, clock becomes a problem for Oxygen in that situation. That's been kind of the case throughout this map in general on both sides of the map. I feel like, again, they've overthought things. They haven't been as decisive as you're used to seeing, they look a little shaky. Rustin and Scuba having a tough game here. And, I mean, right now, it just seems like M80 have firm control of the game. I mean, losing against that bonus is big. Really gives M80, you know, even more of a lead to build off of. So
some inside information that the plushie on EU's head stays on EU's head even when we are not showing the player cams as he takes it off. We cursed it. That's the worst caster curse that's ever happened to me my entire life. I'm sorry to the fans. And apparently he just put it back on. Okay. Look at this cheeky buy. Look at this cheeky buy. 2 judges, Guardian, a Bulldog, and a Vandal, all invested into this one. Gonna be the Bulldog here. Ooh, in the back lines, Verno finds the first kill. This is the weapon that he saved. Nismo will now try and stand, but the Bulldog starts to bite, and Scuba goes huge for 2.
Pivotal moment here. This could be their way back into the map all of a sudden. And maybe we're starting to really stretch their legs and waltz out in front, but this buy-up has proved crucial for Oxygen. They absolutely have shut down this B push. But John Goody and EU alone, they still have Spike in their possession and a lot of time on the clock, but in a 2 versus 5, you're not expecting a whole lot. Gonna have to really work some magic here to figure this one out. And that's a great stand from Oxygen to keep themselves in the game.
Yeah.
You feel like if they lose this round, it's probably over and we're going to Haven, but now they've put this map back in the contest. And oh boy, Redux might be in for one.
30 seconds left.
One would get him his ultimate. A death. There it is. Okay. 1 and a death or 2 kills means the showstopper, and that's exactly what happens. A flawless round as they swap weapons across the players, and then Economy keeps marching forward. And yeah, just like you mentioned, investing into that round, it almost feels like, I feel like that kind of backs up your point of Oxygen maybe getting a little outside themselves, playing a little squirrely versus playing the way that, you know, we've seen them play previously. They take that time out, and it seems the call is, guys, just play your game, right? What are we doing here? Buy up in this round and let's just get it done. We are the better team. We showed it in map 1. They do that. A confident buy leads to a confident round win. And life on the line. If they would have lost that one, they'd have been down to a save. The next time they could buy up, it would have been 12 for M80. Oxygen hang on just before their backs are against the wall.
And it's worth noting that they did get 9 defensive rounds on the last time they played this map against G2. They also had a pretty strong defensive side against Turtle Troop in the first split. So they're capable of playing a good defense on this map, or at least the core of the team is. Obviously, things have changed since then. Great opening kill over towards B Heaven this round for Oxygen. It's going to take Qual and move off the board very early. Looking like a potential A split here from M80, but the trap wire will give it away.
They keep going. We'll see if there's ever a moment they look to call this one off. Guiding Lights and the Trailblazer should confirm. And M80 still want to slam this A site. 4 players to their names. The showstopper comes to try to buy some time. Redux gets one through the smoke. Meanwhile, it's back and forth in the way of kills. And M80 are looking to make this one hurt. Dander down to 30 HP. Nismo sneaks across onto the site. Well, both players now noted. One planting, one ulting. Now a pit to work through as Mitch will be back online. The run and gun from Verno is enough to take down Nismo, and Dander gonna try his darndest to hang on here inside the pit. He'll find the first. With 33 HP, he has to be perfect, and he's anything but that as Oxygen will find a 7th.
Yeah, that res pretty clutch, kind of baits out one of the players inside the pit, allows Verno to get the frag and pretty much secure the round for Oxygen, and they'll also keep the economy nice by carrying over 3 weapons here. That spike plant, though, does allow M80 the option to buy again in this round if they so choose. They're kind of on that borderline where they'll probably calculate how much they can spend this round and still be able to full buy next. As I say that, you see Nismo buying Phantom, so he's down to 100 credits, actually decides better of it, goes to the Stinger. So yeah, they're going to basically calculate a buy down to the dollar or the credit amount that still allows them a full buy next round.
And I think Koala heavily investing in this one. Worst case scenario, kills or deaths. He's going to have the Blade Storm, so no harm, no foul there. Meanwhile, Xander's going to go leaping through. Koala here on the back lines. Redux and Mitch, they mitigate the damage for now. Seekers to reveal the 3 that remain, and I mean, punished for it. Mitch stays in the fight, and he does not make it out alive.
And now Cosmic Divide goes down, blocking off the Heaven entrance, allowing the Spike to tuck in and plant over towards Elbow.
Spike planted.
Ramp's control taken back by Oxygen, but there's a player way back by Sewers that could catch them as they try to rotate into the site.
Predict's gonna clear it out though. Not going as deep as he needed to. John Cutie gonna be playing the backstab with the Guardian. Meanwhile, it's the Sheriff, the Stinger here on the site. That all comes down to the timing. Nismo hangs on for the first. EU finds the next, and the backstab is just around the corner. Verno tries to hang on, but the flash is too good, and M80 match that there, and 11 picked up in a round that, I mean, it was anything but a nice buy.
That's a tough one if you're Oxygen. That's the one you really feel like you need to grab. That's where you had M80 on kind of that halfway by. You're starting to get a little bit of something going, but that one's going to hurt for sure.
Get out of my way!
And Blades still come to fruition. While I get those online. Nothing changes in this round. And Oxygen running low on economy, seeming just a bit out of steam here on Split as well. Good play though from Rustin.
I've got your
Still down out towards the A site, plays out towards B. This no command, not gonna find him here. The trap wire still there. Reveals that the push is coming this way. Another one to work with. Unfortunately, I don't know if anybody's gonna be here to try and work off of that one. Scuba, oh my goodness. Okay, plants his feet, continues to fight, buys enough time. Scuba survives for way longer than he should. The kills end up even here, and that spike not yet committed. Not on the plant or on the tap, at the very least. Paint shells come out to try and buy some time. EU plays just on the other side as the cage will allow safe passage as both players work their way towards the ramps.
Yep, it's going to be the 2-on-2. Guiding Light will confirm that no one is yet screened, but they still don't quite know where that second player is as far as the attacking side goes. So John Q still has to kind of keep tabs on that. Meantime, we can see both defenders are going to be coming ramp side together. EU might be able to line them up. Good flash allows John Q to peek, but he goes down. Now it's all on EU.
One enemy remaining.
I mean, nobody better than EU for the clutch.
Now there's
Oh
some
my
serenity.
goodness, man. He's had a couple of
Match
crazy moments this game. This map has been his for sure. I mean, goodness. Like, when Scuba pops off like this and Virno gets that third, you're starting to think maybe, just maybe, Oxygen are going to get it done. But then EU pulls off the clutch again, and they all go up to him this time. Oh, man. I'm sure it just feels electric in that room right now.
Yeah. Probably smells awful, but feels electric.
Why do you think it smells awful?
They got the fans going. You know, it's hot in there. There's 5 PCs in one room. That's not a good time.
It is kind of like a sauna probably in there. Yeah,
Yeah, it's cooking in there.
it is.
I saw Nismo get up one time, go adjust the fan. He clearly wasn't getting enough of it.
You feel like he's the one that should have the easiest time. No hair.
Sure.
Xander's the one that's cooking, man.
True. Xander's got to put it up. John's getting there as well.
Yeah,
You clean on the sides, making sure that he gets a pretty clean breeze.
nice little streamline across the ears. Yeah. This is what it's come to. Us talking about haircuts. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about all that we could, right? EU's crazy. That's
Yeah.
I'm surprised. You've been doing a good job, man, of
What's that?
keeping it to a minimum. You've been the EU talk. You've been keeping it to a minimum.
I mean, he says it himself. I don't have to say anything.
True. He does in fact speak for himself. As we take a look at the opposite side, Verno and Redux having themselves a pretty solid game. Verno, I mean, putting the team in winnable positions. Unfortunately, clutch potential, it's just there. We hyped up Nismo and him having the highest clutch percentage of Split 2, and EU is looking to rival that in this series alone.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Modest, very modest dust
pretty
about his
I feel
love
like
for EU.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we don't have a whole lot of time to talk about.
No, we
Redux doesn't get him too much. Xander and Qualanoob swiftly open up this site. The 3 remaining defenders are close.
It's
but
over.
It's not close enough. Yeah, it comes down to the final 2, and well, make it final 1 is all right. I mean, I don't even have time. A flawless way to close us out. 13-7. M80 get it done and push us to a map 3.
Yeah, M80 getting it done, and they're celebrating a little bit there. Again, while this map may not have really much significant impact on, you know, their seeding, I mean, they're still guaranteed a top 2 seed when it comes to playoffs. It still means a lot to them to just prove themselves as the best team in challengers, I think. And they know that Oxygen has been a team that's been on the rise and been, you know, putting some good wins together. You know, they're a fellow playoff team. They haven't played each other before. And so I think that for M80, it probably means a lot to them to just say, hey, like, we know that you're on the come up, but we're still the kings of this league. And, you know, I think that that was, you know, probably a good feel, especially on a map that they haven't, you know, been able to prove themselves yet on Split, right? The one time they played it was a loss. So I think being able to get a win over a team like Auction, who's been pretty successful on Split, I mean, it kind of starts to show maybe that M80 might have a wider map pool than people anticipated. And so we'll just have to kind of see how the rest of the series plays out from there as we're going to head to Haven, where both teams will feel very comfortable.
Yeah, Haven is an interesting place to close this one out on. And again, at the end of the day, it's pride and bragging rights, basically. It's Oxygen trying to prove themselves as somebody who can play at the top, and it's M80 who are trying to prove to everybody that they still belong at the top after faltering a bit here in Split 2. But Haven is on the docket, and it comes to you guys right after this short break.